Hi folks, Bill here with Legends Restaurants, and today what we're going to do, we're going to cut our sirloins, and we'll show you how we do those in the restaurant, and then we're going to go to the line and we're going to grill off some sirloins and show you our steak combos that we do in the restaurant. That's real popular. Start off with we start off with a clean. This is what they call a peeled top butt sirloin, and what that means is that you can see this fat right here. Then there was a cap that went on this side that's been cut off and trimmed off, and on the bottom here is culotte muscle, and that's been removed. So this is the center of the top butt sirloin. This is the center part of that. Now in our restaurants, besides the filet mignon that we do, which the filet is the most tender piece of meat that you can buy in a restaurant for the most part, most expensive as well, and it's lean. The top butt sirloin is not like a ribeye. It doesn't have that seam fat on it. It has the trim fat. The trim fat is what you see here on the outside. In the restaurants, we serve a 6-ounce and 9-ounce sirloin. My trim specs is 6 3/4 to 7 1/4. That's the target I want to hit on a 7-ounce sirloin. And on the 9-ounce, we try to hit 9 3/4 to 10 1/4, 10 1/2, somewhere in there. That's my cut specs, you know, on the sirloins. We want to make sure you get your money's worth, you know, and I'd set those specs up there higher than, say, a 6-ounce. Most time, you know, if you go to a restaurant and order a 6-ounce, they're cutting a 6 and starting with a 6. And time you grill that off, or if they cut a little bit short, then you might end up with 4 1/2 to 5-ounce steak, and that's not what I want you to have from our restaurant. So I try to be generous with my cuts on all of our meats that we do in our restaurants. Anyway, the main thing about this top butt, and what we'll do first is we'll trim off the trim fat. We'll trim a lot of that off and get that peeled and cleaned up. And we try to trim down, you know, the industry standard is 1/4 of an inch, and we'll trim it down a little bit closer than that. I don't take all the fat off, but I get it down pretty close. Now what you got to do, after I do that, I look this loin over, and I got to find the grain of the meat. And I can tell right there the grain is going this way in this meat. So I want to cut across the grain. I cut against the grain, and then when you cut steaks at home, if you buy any kind of steak you cut at home, I don't care what it is, always find the grain. The grain's going this way, and cut this way. That helps the bite of that meat. It kind of gives you that kind of a slinky type feel to your meat. It kind of pulls apart and comes back together, and that's what I'll show you that in just a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. I'll cut this loin in 3 pieces like this, because what we're going to cut today is we're cutting 6-ounce sirloins. Now you can really see the grain of the meat. You can see it going just like this. So when I cut that steak, I'm going to put it up here and I'm going to cut against the grain. So let's do that. I'm going to trim some of this off here. What they call this silver skin. You can see this right here. I'll take this silver skin off. And I only let my managers cut steaks in the restaurant because we're dealing with a very expensive piece of meat, and I want it done right. So I train my managers, and that's the only people I let cut steaks. Now, if you see, you can see that kind of that, what I call that slinky look to that meat right there, and you pull it apart. I can see the grain is this way, and I cut against that grain. I want to make sure that we give, you know, the right, you know, 7 ounces is my target, and that steak there is 7.2, 6 3/4 is my target, and that steak right there is 7.2 ounces. And then I come in here and I cut another one. You can see what I'm talking about. I call it that slinky look to that meat right there. And that's where I've cut against the grain. Now when I grill that and I go to eat that steak, it's going to eat a lot more tender with them being cut that way. Let's see what that one weighs. So that one weighs 7.8 ounces. And my target, so what I do, you know, I look at those, and then if there's any flaws to that steak after I cut it, then I'll come in here and I'll trim it down a little bit more. Now I'm at 6 3/4, and that's where I don't want to be any bigger than that. 7.5 ounces. So I've got, I mean, this is the steaks that we're looking for, and depending on the, you know, what part of this, if I'm cutting from this end here, a lot of times they'll be a little bit thicker. So I'm going to finish cutting these up. There's a lot more waste in a sirloin steak than there is, I'll turn that around where I can see. There's a lot more waste in a sirloin steak than there is in a ribeye. There's just so much more to trim from that you got to trim off. So we cut all of our sirloins in-house. We cut all of our ribeyes in-house. The porterhouse steak, which has a bone in it, I don't have any saws in my kitchen, so we don't cut those here. I have a company to cut them for me, and I'll if I got a truck coming in on Monday morning, or say Friday, then I'll place an order on Wednesday. They'll cut Thursday, and then they'll deliver to me Friday morning. So you know, I'll get my steaks cut. That porterhouse steak is not cut in my restaurant. For the most part, we cut all of our steaks, you know, right here in the restaurant. We'll finish cutting these up, and then we're going to go to the line, and we're going to cook off some of these sirloins. Let me show you our steak combos that we do. Really see that steak right there where you kind of got that, where I've cut it against the grain. That steak right there is going to be real tender. If you don't cut against the grain, your steaks will not be near as tender. Of course, the other thing is that, you know, I want at least 25-day aging on my beef. So when it comes in, I've got there's a pack date on the box. And I mean, we watch those pack dates, and we make sure that, you know, these steaks are aged at, you know, at least 25 days. More aging is better. Just the more it ages, the more tender that product's going to be. So, and then like this particular piece right here, you can see that right there, and then there's gristle in there. So we'll come in here and we'll trim that gristle out. Then I get down to where I can't get any more steaks out of it. Then I'll grind this up in my hamburger meat. So I'm using ribeyes and top butt sirloins that I'm grinding up in my hamburger meat. This is the most tricky thing that we cut in the restaurants, because every loin's not the same. If they were, it'd be a whole lot easier. And here I'm just trimming off that silver skin and get these cleaned up real good before I start cutting them. You start off with good, you can end with good. If you start off with bad, I don't care what you do to it, it'll never end good. Clean that first cut up. Now this steak here is going to look like a filet mignon. You see that steak? And that looks like a filet mignon. And they call that a baseball cut on a sirloin. And once we'll flatten that steak out on the grill, and we'll grill it like that. And so you got a real nice sirloin right there. I get real lenient on my cut specs. I mean, you might get one that weighs 8 ounces, but I don't want you to get one that weighs dead on 6 before it goes to that grill. Now you can see right here, you can see that gristle right there. And we'll just take that right there and we'll trim that off. Clean it up. It's good to go. I can't get any more steaks out of that. So I'll cut that up and that goes in my ground beef. And there, folks, out of that one loin, we got 12 steaks out of that one loin. But you saw what I started with and what I'm ending with, and how just how trim, we trim every one of them, and we try to cut every single one of them just like that right there. So we're going to go to the line now. We're going to grill off some of these sirloins, and I'm going to show you what our steaks look like. Our combo plates that we sell that are real popular. We cut these sirloins in the back, and we're going to grill these off, and we're going to do our we're going to grill. Let me season this grill a little bit. I'm just using oil. At home, you can just use some oil after you get your grill hot and season your grill. That helps keep your steaks from sticking. Get those sirloins going. One of our combos is grilled shrimp. So we get some grilled shrimp going. One of our we have a sirloin. All my combos is the 6-ounce sirloin, which we cut 7-ounce steaks back there in the back, and we marinate those with Johnny's, and we're brushing with marinade as we're cooking these steaks here. And so what we do, we have 3 combos. We have a sirloin and chicken tenders. We have a sirloin and grilled shrimp, or you can get a sirloin and fried shrimp. You get those 2 combinations, the 7-ounce steak. This grilled shrimp, as you can see, has 6 shrimp on it. Your fried shrimp, there'll be 4. And on your chicken tenders, you'll get 4 chicken tenders. Get that, a side item, a salad or a salad bar for $15.99. One of the best deals we have on the menu, I think, as far as getting a combination of 2 good items, a good salad bar, a good side salad, and a side item, your choice. And we've got a new side item I'll show you here in a few minutes as we plate these up. That we're doing some fresh items like asparagus. So we've got fresh asparagus that we're doing in the restaurant now, featuring that. It's summertime, spring, summertime, people are always grilling out, so doing some fresh vegetables is something I wanted to bring to you guys, to our customers out there. So anyway, as these are grilling, I'll let them grill, and then I'll quarter turn them. As you can see, as I'm trying to pull that steak loose, that steak's not ready to turn yet because it won't pull loose from the grill. When it's ready to turn, it'll cook. You let it cook enough, and it'll pull loose from the grill. On our sirloin combos, as these are cooking, I recommend medium rare on all my steaks. I like a steak closer to rare than I do medium rare, actually, but most of the time when I go into a restaurant, I'll eat a medium rare. Don't be afraid to eat our steaks medium rare. There's all kinds of things talking about E. coli and all that. And when I was cutting these steaks, I should have told you that, most of those kind of things come from the processing plants where they're handling a lot of different beef, and then they're ground, the ground beef and all that. These are coming from a whole muscle product, and as you've seen as I was cutting these steaks, it's coming out of the center of the loin. There's nothing touching that product except for my knife, and it's going to this grill. So best way to eat a steak, in my opinion. Now this steak is really good medium, but if you're a medium well to well done eater, we'll fix it any way you like. So just let us know, obviously, as you place your order. One of the items, new items we have on the menu right now is a sirloin salad featured with goat cheese. Dish right there sells for $8.99. Very, very good value. Anyway, what we do, we start out with one of our sirloins that we cut earlier, and doing the combo platters. Before I plate these combo platters up, I'm going to show you this sirloin salad that we're doing. Take romaine. It's got black olives and diced tomatoes. We take an egg and we quarter that egg. Put this on my cutting board. This is a really good, we had a lot of requests for this steak salad, basically. This is one of my favorite salads now. It's become very popular. Put that goat cheese on there. Folks, that's our sirloin salad with goat cheese. Same steak we were cutting up in the back there. And let me just show you a piece of this meat. This is cooked about rare to medium rare. And you can see how that meat stretches. And you can see that, what I call that slinky. That slinky, that's what I was talking about, that slinky part of that meat. And that'll eat real tender right there. So that's one of the items we're doing with our steaks, our sirloin steaks. And then let me show you how we plate up our steak combos. The way I'm going to do this shrimp is with our Cajun seasoning. I brush out with a little bit of butter and come back and lightly season that with Cajun. And there you have our grilled shrimp with Cajun. And we'll plate the steak up. And this is one of our combo plates here. And we're doing fresh asparagus in our restaurants now. So this 6-ounce sirloin, as I told you, we cut the spec to 6 3/4 and up. That steak right there is every bit of 7.5 ounces. 6 skewered shrimp, fresh asparagus, salad bar or side salad, $15.99 at Legends Restaurants. So come on out to Legends and try one of our combos. Another one of the combos that we do is the fresh chicken tenders. Now on the shrimp, coming back to the shrimp, you can get the grilled or the fried shrimp. If you like fried shrimp, then we have fried shrimp available. We also have the sirloin with the chicken tenders. We can feature that with our fresh asparagus. Show you what that looks like. It's a lot of food for $15.99. Really want to thank you for your business and for patronizing our restaurants. You know, we're here for you. You know, if it's something you don't like, I mean, hey, just let me know. We'll take care of it. And also any kind of suggestions. The reason we have fresh asparagus now is because we had a customer said, you know, had eaten asparagus. And so I've never have really eaten asparagus, to be honest with you. And so I went out and started eating asparagus. And I kind of like it. Asparagus is an excellent health food item for you. So we now have that available at our restaurant. Come on out to Legends Restaurants and see me and our staff and let us take care of you. And as our goal in our restaurants is to treat you like a king or queen. We don't own our business. We may think we do, we don't. You own this restaurant. So if it's not the way you like it, just let us know and we'll do our best to get it that way. Come see me at Legends Restaurants and thank you for your business.